Spirituality Quotient. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to define spiritual quotient, interpret your spiritual quotient, discuss the indicators of spiritual quotient, list the benefits of spiritual quotient. Human intelligence is defined as total mental ability for reasoning, problem solving, and rational thinking to adapt to new situations effectively. There are three quotients to measure human intelligence, namely intelligence quotient, that is IQ, emotional quotient, that is EQ, and spiritual quotient, that is SQ. At the beginning of the 20th century, psychologists discovered some kind of tests to determine the intelligence quotient. Progressive understanding of intelligence quotient led to an understanding of emotional quotient. Psychologists defined emotional quotient as the ability to identify, assess, and control the emotions of oneself and of others. Emotional quotient can be increased through self-awareness, self-inquiry, and dedication. Further, progress in understanding of emotional quotient led to ultimate intelligence called as spiritual quotient. Let us discuss about spiritual quotient in detail. Spiritual quotient is the ability to recognize life principles which build one's life in accordance with human values and laws. Animals have EQ and computers have IQ. But only human beings, apart from having EQ and IQ, also have SQ. SQ is the universal approach to life, like kind-heartedness, creativity, and reasoning, which equip us to solve problems. This directs us towards wider and meaningful life. Spiritually aware people follow the lesson of values that they have learned from their life. They take decisions based on the following dimensions: consciousness, truth, acceptance, forgive and love, self-acceptance, self-compassion, and inner wholeness. The key methods used to learn and develop one's spiritual quotient are meditation, detached observation, spiritual vision, serving others to develop their spiritual quotient, connecting ourselves with spiritual power, review past experiences, and practice. First one is meditation. It cultivates self-awareness. The second one is detached observation, which helps to disengage ourselves from the world of thoughts, actions, and feelings within your consciousness. The third one is spiritual vision, which is seeing only the best in others and empowering them to develop the best in themselves. The fourth one is serving others, which is the highest form of service to develop others' spiritual quotient, which in turn enhances and sustains our own progress. The fifth one is connecting ourselves with higher source of spiritual power, which accelerates the developmental process and increases both the depth and breadth of our spiritual intelligence. The sixth one is to review past experiences of our interactions with others on a daily basis. The seventh one is to practice these methods. The more these methods are practiced, the faster is the realization of one's own self, and hence deeper is the development of the spiritual quotient. Following and practicing these methods lead us to know the real essence of spiritual intelligence, to develop and shape our SQ to perfection. Spirituality quotient involves asking fundamental questions like: who am I? What am I? Where am I? How do I work? How does this all work? What is my uniqueness? What happens next? By asking all these questions, spirituality quotient allows humans to seek answers to fundamental questions and play an infinite game. The first question, who am I, is related to self-identity. Self-identity refers to how one sees oneself, which shapes one's thoughts, decisions, and life directions. Knowing oneself is not a self-indulgent pursuit, but essential to dispel the illusions and confusions which lead us down the wrong path. The second question, what am I, is related to self-meaning, which reveals the potential source of human values in each one of us. For example, the core of one's nature is love, which is the highest spiritual value. It is the basis of good action when expressed as empathy and compassion, both of which are essential for building relationships. The third question, where am I, is related to self-resonance. There are various kinds of people with different views of their environment, but we all exist in relation to the environment. What does this relationship mean to you personally, and how do you cultivate and sustain it at the deepest spiritual level? Your success depends on your spiritual intelligence. The fourth question, how do I work, is related to self-response. As a conscious being, one knows little about how one's consciousness works. Ultimately, this lies firmly in the domain of spirituality and self-awareness. The method of self-study is based on self-awareness, which is related to the mind, intellect, memory, personality traits, and integrity. The fifth question, how does it all work, is related to self-truth. Truth never changes, and from it comes the laws of life, the morals of right and wrong, and the principles on which a balanced and harmonious life is created and sustained. Spiritual laws can never be broken, but our subconscious mind makes us break them due to the ignorance of spiritual intelligence. Awareness of the laws is the foundation of our spiritual intelligence. The sixth question, what is my uniqueness, is related to self-purpose. Awareness of our purpose in life makes it meaningful because each person is unique. True purpose is something that is realized, fine-tuned, and integrated into our daily life. The seventh question, what happens next, is related to self-creativity. Creativity is the central aspect behind one's purpose. The answers to these 6 questions will make you understand the role of creativity, which will always be a key aspect to your fundamental personal purpose and common collective purpose. Let us now look at the indicators of high spiritual quotient. Self-awareness, flexibility, ability to face and transcend pain and suffering, vision, values and wisdom not to hurt others and self, desire for seeking answers to fundamental questions such as why and what if, courage to work against conventions. Let us discuss what the benefits of spiritual quotient are. A high SQ is the best predictor of happiness, peace, self-esteem, harmonious and loving relationships. Compared to the average population, high SQ people appear to live a more balanced life, heal faster from illness and surgery, effectively manage emotions like anger, irritation, sorrow, fear, etc., be less likely to suffer from depression, and be more likely to feel happy and optimistic. Hence, the transformative power of SQ differentiates it from IQ and AQ. Because IQ primarily solves logical problems, EQ allows us to judge the situation and behave properly. But SQ allows us to ask if we want to be in that situation in the first place. High SQ requires us to be deeply honest, demanding intense personal integrity. Summary. From this lesson, you have learnt about spiritual quotient and methods to develop spiritual quotient. Spiritual quotient examination. Indicators of spiritual quotient. Benefits of spiritual quotient.